Howdy folks, in today's video we'll go ahead and take a look at the Intex Excursion Pro kayak. This is the K2 version of the Excursion Pro, which is a pretty cool model where you can configure it for either a one person or for a two-person kayak. This is the second kayak that I have. The first one that I got was about 2.5 years ago, and it was the Intex K1 Challenger, which is still an awesome kayak, and I am still using that, except, well, wintertime of course, then I'm not. But I got this one because it has the two-person option, and it also is larger. And finally the snow has melted. It's springtime. We can go ahead and finally take it out of the box and check it out, and hopefully it's going to be a good kayak. All right, so with everything out of the box, let's go ahead and take a look. What do we get? We get two inflatable seats, and we also get one booster seat. So it is basically one flat piece that you can put under or above the seat so that you get a higher sitting position if you want. We have the kayak, of course, which will open up in just 1 second. And of course, we also have the manual, and hopefully something I don't have to use as a patch repair kit. So I don't know how well it works. Hopefully I don't have to find out anytime soon. We do get a high efficiency pump, and what I mean by this is that it pumps air both on the upward and the downward stroke. And we also have the two paddles. Of course, you have to assemble it, which makes it nice and compact. So you have 3 pieces for the rods, and then the paddles. 2 footrests, and then we also have our choice of skags to use. So you still use only one on the kayak, but you can choose whether you want the regular size one, the shark fin one, or the shallow water one. We have a wrench for the valves. We have a pressure gauge. We have rod holders that we can put for fishing rods. And we have the bag as well. And this piece here is for the accessory bar, so that you can again attach it, whether fishing rods or anything else that you may be interested. Something really cool about this pump is that it has an inflate side and also a deflate side, depending on where you attach the hose to. And that is cool because when you need to deflate the kayak and you still have a little bit of that air in it and you're trying to fold it, well, this helps you get a little bit of that air out so that the kayak can be as compact as possible. They don't mark it very well. It's hard to see, so I would say put some color on one side so you know which side is which. Alright, so in this part of the video, what I'd like to do is to show you the way the kayak has been folded, at least from the factory, so that when you are trying to refold it, we have a good guide to go on. And I know for a fact that some of you who will be watching this video already got this kayak, but you're trying to figure out how exactly should you fold it because you forgot the way it was folded and you're trying to get it back in the bag, right? So this is the reason why I'm showing you this part of the video, is I'm not trying to bore you to death, but I am trying to show you where the fold marks are, so that when you are folding it, you can see where to do that so that you can fit it the best that you can. The biggest thing to note is that the left side is the end of the kayak, the right side is the front, and the valves are all toward the back of the kayak. And when you are trying to fold it, start on the right side. Once you do the center folds, start on the right side so that the air can go out from the valves, because if you start folding it from the rear side where the valves are, then you're basically preventing the rear valves from letting the air out. Through the magic of video, here's everything assembled and ready to go. It did take me about maybe 15 minutes or so to pump it all up. It is currently, I've set it up for a one-person configuration. If you have it set up for a two-person configuration, you do have a handlebar on each side, which or on each end, so you can carry it easily. But even in a one-person configuration, I'm able to easily lift it up in the center and carry it, so that it's not a problem. Of course, it is bigger, it is heavier than my K1 Challenger, so I do feel the difference, but I can still easily carry that without an issue or a problem. So in this one-person configuration, I have the footrests here, and then the accessory bars here. Accessory bars fits right here or just a little bit to the left. You see those two notches and the rubbers? Those are the only places where this would fit, regardless whether it's one-person or two-person configuration. So that may be an issue, maybe for some of you. It would be nice if we were able to put this accessory bar somewhere in other places, but we cannot. The fishing rod holders are in the back. But that is the configuration. So that means if you have it set up as a two-person kayak and they're facing inward, they're crisscrossing, so that means those fishing rod would be in somebody's face. I'm not sure if that was the best engineering aspect to this, but it is what it is. There are 3 separate independent air chambers that need to be inflated, which is good for the safety perspective, and they need to be inflated in a specific order. So the bottom one goes first, and then the sides, they are marked, so 1 by the bottom, and then 2 and 3 for the sides. At the very end of the kayak, we also have a special area where you can actually use it as a drain plug, so you can open it up. Make sure that you close it before you are getting into the water, or else you're going to get the water alarm fairly quickly. Not something that you want. It does close nice and tight, but of course always check it before you get in the water. The valves on this kayak are different than what I have on the Intex Challenger, which have the Boston valves. These ones are different. I was not able to find anything in the specifications, the exact model of what these ones are. They're spring-loaded valves, and then the hose has a specific configuration for it as well. I will try to find a backup hose somewhere so that I will have at least a backup option, because if this hose fails, I don't have anything else to inflate this with. We do have a pressure gauge that we can attach to each valve after we're done inflating it to make sure we're not overinflating it. It is at a weird 90-degree angle, so sometimes it makes it a little bit harder to see, especially out in the sun. But it's not too bad. We also have this white button at the top so we can release extra air if we have overinflated it. After you inflate it a few times, at least with my K1 experience with a Challenger, you already know quickly how well it should be inflated. We do have good, nice-sized D-rings on the front and back of the kayak. On the outward side, on the inward sides, those are for the seats. We also have a rope and also a carrying handle on both ends of the kayak. As I mentioned earlier, for a 2-person configuration, with those 2 handles, you can easily carry it. For a 1-man configuration, just carry it in the middle. And just for the fun of it, I want to show you the 2 side by side. I'm not comparing them apples to apples. They're separate things, of course, but I just want to show you the difference in size between the Challenger K1 that I have and the Excursion Pro K2, just so that you can compare and see the difference in size. And of course, there's also a difference in ratings. The K1 has a rated capacity of 220 pounds, and it is 400 pounds for the Excursion Pro K2. To deflate, press the valve down, and then you'll see it will start to deflate. Turn it 90 degrees, and then it will lock in the deflated position so that all of the air can come out. Of course, don't forget to put it back in the regular position, or else next time you inflate it, as soon as you take the hose out, it will deflate. So make sure that you set it in the right position for inflation. And finally, taking out on the water, I can see that it is doing well. It is very sturdy, good quality materials. No issues in terms of putting it in the water or worrying about it deflating. Of course, we still have to be careful. We have to watch where we're going, and you have to know how to swim. That doesn't change. So overall, the kayak seems to be doing pretty well. Tracks well, tracks straight, works in a way as I'm expecting it to. Again, I'm not a professional kayaker. I only have 1 kayak prior to this, and it is also an inflatable one, so take my opinions with a grain of salt and pepper. But from my experience so far, I'm definitely enjoying it on the water. I do feel the difference between the K1 Challenger and the Excursion Pro K2 because it is a larger kayak. So what I mean by this is that making a turn, you will have to work a little bit harder because you have a larger kayak to make the turn, right? Just like if you were in a small car or a larger car, same thing applies. So working with the wind that is sideways, same thing applies as well, so that the wind, you have a larger surface area for the wind, so that means it will try to off-track you a little bit more than for me in the K1, but again, nothing out of the ordinary or unexpected. It all makes sense, but considering how well it works in the 1-person configuration in a 2-person kayak, from that perspective, it actually very well, and I'm impressed how well that works. And if somebody is looking for a 2-person kayak that can also work as a 1-person configuration, well, that is a great thing, because not all kayaks can or do accommodate that, and in this case that's a perfect solution. Now if you're still 1 person and you want a 1-person kayak, then the K1 Challenger is still going to be probably the easiest option unless you want to do fishing where you do need more room. But for a quick thing after work, I'll still take my K1 Challenger because I can actually inflate it at home, fit the whole thing inside my car, and just take it to the water. But if you need the larger space, or if you want the two-person configuration, then the Excursion Pro is definitely going to be a good choice. I don't think anything or anyone can go wrong with that. Long term, those are things that I do with all of my reviews. I'll put in things in the description of the video, in the comments, to see how that goes. Since I had my K1 Challenger for 2.5 years and no issues with that, I'm expecting this one to last for many more, of course, as well. But if anything changes, I'll post that in the description of the video and in the comments. I hope you guys like this video, enjoy it, watch it, and if you get one as well, have a wonderful time in it. Thanks for watching, have a great day, bye-bye.